Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Uneducated Economist here. I'm going to get out of the way and let you guys have a view of the river here. Let me back up a little bit. All right, yeah, that looks pretty good. First, I'd like to thank George Gammon. George Gammon and I had a great conversation this morning. He posted the interview on his channel tonight. It's getting a great response. Thank you so much, George. I really appreciate it. He has shown a lot of support for the channel, and he always gives me a lot of encouragement on everything that I'm doing here. And you know, considering some of the people that he's interviewed in the past, some pretty high-level guys, to bring me on his show, it says a lot. So thank you, George. I really appreciate all that. I'd also like to give a thank you to Alaska Prepper. He gave me a shout out the other day. I got quite a few subscribers from that. So thank you all the new subscribers who are coming over from Alaska Prepper. I really appreciate that. And of course, you know, I don't want to forget, you know, some of the great guys out there, some of the other YouTubers who have always shown a lot of support for the channel. Boom, Bubble, Bust, Repeat, BullBoom-BearBust. You know, these guys, they're awesome. So I'm going to leave links down in there to some of my favorite YouTubers down there. I appreciate it. If you haven't checked out their channel or subscribed, maybe head on over to those guys. Give them a shout out, let them know the Uneducated Economist sent you, and you know, be sure and subscribe to their channels. They have great content, and there's some really good guys out there. So I appreciate all the support from everybody out there in YouTube, and you know, I can't thank you guys enough. I thought I'd come out here, give you guys a view of the river, and talk a little bit about the foreclosure that I went through. Now, I'm not somebody who knows a whole lot about buying and selling houses. I've attempted to buy just one house in my life, and over the course of the 7 years that I was in that house, I experienced a lot of stuff, considering that it was right during the great financial crisis that we were experiencing, that I had lost my job and trying to make the payments on this house. And for 7 years, we struggled very hard on this thing. Now, getting into the house at the time was really easy. So we got to think, this is early 2007, late 2006, early 2007. And we were looking in the area. My wife, you know, she comes to me, she'd say, hey, I'm pregnant. We're going to have a kid here in, you know, 8 months or whatever. We need to get a house. We need someplace better than where we're living. We were living in this little tiny shack out in Gerhardt. And she says, we need a better place to live. And I'm like, you know, you're right. So we looked around. Houses were real expensive at the time. You know, this was during the housing boom. And we found a house that was really reasonably priced. Now, it wasn't a great house as far as the condition goes, but I was working construction, and you know, I had access to a lot of materials doing, we were actually building condos at the time, so you know, there's a lot of scrap materials left over, you know, just stuff that that either gets thrown away or just not used or taken to you know, donations or like, you know, Habitats for Humanity and stuff like that. So there's a lot of like, you know, stuff that you can salvage from a big job like doing, you know, condos and stuff. So that's what I was doing at the time when we bought this house. So I'm thinking, okay, no problem. I'm going to be able to remodel this place. I got the skills, the tools, you know, the access to a lot of materials. I'm sure we could probably make something happen here with this house. Let's do it. So we signed the deal on the house, and like 3 months later, everything's going to hell, right? Everything is going to hell with the housing market, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Now, you got to think, this is during a time when I had no clue about economics. I had no idea about the Federal Reserve. I didn't know anything about anything at this time, and all of a sudden I'm losing my job. I can't find any work out there doing construction. Everybody's talking about how there's this housing bubble bust. I'm still not clued in on what's happening exactly, and all I know is that I need to come up with $1,165 a month in order to make this house payment, or else, you know, you lose the house. And so that's the position that I was put into, and we did it for 7 years. My wife and I, we struggled every single month to come up with this $1,165, and it was like hell. Like, I was making decent money, she was making okay money. I lost my job, her income's kind of dropped a lot. It was just like, oh great, now what do we do? You know, it's just like you feel stuck and you're not sure. You're just hoping that things will get better. And what's interesting is that they had all these programs. This is what I thought was funny, is like, all these government programs about how to keep people in their homes and stuff like that. When I would talk to these people, they were like, okay, well, what's your income? And I'm like, I'm unemployed. They're like, well, we can't really help people who are unemployed. You have to have a proof of income or else there's really nothing we can do for you. And I'm like, okay, well, that means I lose my house, right? You know, that's what I'm kind of guessing. So anyway, 7 years goes by and we're done. We're out of cash. Like, it's just like, we're definitely, you know, we're not gonna make it. Now, we haven't missed a payment at this point yet, but we're going to, and it's just inevitable. And my wife comes to me and she says, hey, I'm pregnant with our second kid. And I'm like, yeah, of course you are, right? I mean, what better timing? And so I kind of told the family, you know, hey guys, this is the situation I'm in. Family said, okay, we got that little tiny house out there in the country. It's way too small, but you guys head out there since, you know, you guys aren't gonna make it. You got this kid on the way. You got more things to think about. And so I had this, by this time I had gotten a job at a lumber yard, but it was like I was getting paid very little, had no insurance. It was just, you know. So anyhow, we get into this little house, you know, the family was kind enough to let us live in. And my second child was born. By this time, I'm at another lumberyard. The first lumberyard had shut down, and actually, that was the second lumberyard I had worked for that got shut down, but it was years later that the second one had shut down. But when they went down, I went to work for the current company I work for now. Luckily, they had insurance, so, I mean, although the medical bills, this is what astonished me. Like, my first kid was born. I lose track. I start going all over the place. But just to kind of give you guys a quick one here. My first child was born. It was an emergency C-section. We had no insurance. It was like, I thought for sure, okay, this is going to be a huge bill. The hospital bill came to like $16,000 at the time. And I'm thinking, okay, well, that's that. You know, I'm going to have to come up with some sort of payment plan to deal with the $16,000 bill. And through the charitable donations or however it works, the hospital deducted 90% of that bill. I walked out of there free and clear. I had the $1,600. I mean, I paid off. I didn't have any debts when I walked out of that hospital with my first child with no insurance. Second child, everything went exactly the way it was scheduled and planned, and no hiccups, no problems. I left that hospital with the kid owing $7,200 to the hospital. And I couldn't figure out why. I was like, how is it that I ended up owing this much money with insurance? It's like, did the insurance get billed anything on this birth? You know, and I had the hospital double check. They're like, yep, that's what you owe. And I'm like, this is incredible, because I paid $1,600 for an emergency C-section with no insurance, and now I have insurance. I owe $7,200. I don't even come close to owing the money. And so I'm like, okay, well, you know, your money's gonna go. You're gonna get your money whenever you get it. I don't have it, so whatever. And I just kind of basically ignored it. And that is absolutely the wrong thing to do. And I walked away from that house at the same time. And I had like no money. And bills were like piled up. And I just got to a point where I'm just like, you know what? Oh well. Like, oh well. You know, it's just like, I don't care anymore. I mean, if I owe money to people, then yeah, you get in line. That's the way I felt. And I would get letters for the house, like, hey, you know, you got to deal with this house. You're going into foreclosure. You know, it started off with the delinquencies, and I would get phone calls, but I wouldn't answer them. Like, if somebody says, hey, we're calling about whatever, I'd be like, yeah, I can't talk, click, you know, and I just hang up on them. I never answered anything. I never answered a phone call. I never answered a letter. And, you know, people were telling me, oh man, you're going to get in trouble. You're going to end up owing all this money on this house. You're going to end up owing it as taxes and all this other stuff. And I was just like, whatever. I mean, yeah, that'll just go on top of all the rest of the stuff that I owe. I don't care. You know, I don't care. And, you know, I got like a summons to show up in court at one point, and it says if you fail to show up, you're just basically pleading guilty or whatever. And I was just like, yeah, all right. And I never showed up. You know, I never showed up for that. And then one day I get a letter that says, you know, everything is done, it's over, you're foreclosed, and basically you're not going to hear from us anymore. And I thought, okay, so now here's the real damage is going to come. You know, this is where something's going to sneak up and be like, okay, you owe all this money, or, you know, whatever. And other than having incredibly bad credit, nothing happened. Nothing happened to me. I walked out of my house one day and I never looked back, and I never did anything. And nothing happened. Except for, you know, 7 years of, you know, bad luck. It was like breaking a mirror or something with my credit. So my credit score, thankfully, is now close to 800. I've rebuilt my credit back. I'm out of debt. You know, walking away from that house was probably one of the smartest moves I think I had ever done. Now, looking back on it, had I was able to do the things that I had dreamed of, as far as like getting that house into a much better condition than it was even after I left. The only thing I had really done that was significant to the house is I put a new roof on it. And it needed it bad, but I got the new roof on it, and that was it. I couldn't really do anything else to it. Now, had I done that, had I put the money into it and was able to get it up into a nice home, I probably could have sold it for a chunk of change. I probably could have made a lot of money on it. But it wasn't in the cards for me. And when they sold that family home and I had to leave that, it was tough because I couldn't afford to buy that home. And, you know, some of these things, you know, you miss out. You feel like you miss out on opportunities a lot. And, you know, I look now into the future and, you know, I would love to own a home. You know, I would love to have, you know, my boys have a yard, and I would like to have my chickens back. I used to raise chickens. I raised a lot of birds. My wife had a beautiful garden. We had, you know, we had a lot going on there that was good for the family. And not that where I live now is bad. I mean, I rent a pretty nice house. It's big. It's close. You know, it's right in town, so it's close to you know, to the store and stuff like that. So that's good. But you know, I think about how bad people look at foreclosures, as if it's like the world's, you know, ending or something like that. And I can see where it could be a very devastating event in time for people. But I tell you, it was probably one of the smarter moves I had ever done, because I probably never would have been able to get out of debt. I probably never would have been able to work on that house. It probably never would have, you know, made it out of the less than desirable condition it was in. So, yeah. You know, for those of you who are going through foreclosures, you know, or fear that you may be coming into in the future, you know, maybe think about this video and the experience that I had with it, because, you know, now it's been like so many years ago, it doesn't seem like it was a big deal now that I look back at it. At the time, it was tough. It was really, really tough, and it's hard to deal with that sometimes. And my problem ended up driving into alcohol and smoking a lot of weed. I was doing, you know, some pretty stupid things as far as, you know, self-destructiveness. Anyway, not to get too personal on that, but that's kind of what happened to me. And, you know, when I finally made that commitment that I was going to get out of debt, we had given up drinking. We were going to get out of debt. You know, we were really going to put forth the energy and the effort to not be completely broke, to not have to worry about, like, you know, bills coming in the mail. And it was tough. It's been a long, tough road to get to. And I still feel like I am so far behind, even though the progress we have made has gone so far. Anyway, I think I'm just going to leave it at that, guys. I'm going to sit back. and let you guys just kind of enjoy the view a little bit. And yeah, Uneducated Economist. You guys let me know.